Everything about woman is a riddle, and everything about woman has one solution. It is called pregnancy. Thus spoke Friedrich Nietzsche, a philosopher who dared to stare into the abyss and challenge every corner of human existence with a brutal honesty that still echoes today, a man whose words cut through the noise of his time and ours. But today I ask you, you who are watching this at 1:57 p.m. us 3 on Thursday, May 15th, 2025, with your mind open and your heart beating, with the afternoon sun casting shadows across your room, have you ever stopped to consider the true nature of female desire? Have you ever felt that the desires of the women around you, your partner, your mother, a friend, a colleague, or even a memory from years past, are a mystery you can't quite grasp? Something that draws you in with its intensity, yet leaves you confused, lost in a fog of unspoken questions. If you've ever felt that curiosity, that blend of fascination and bewilderment, that nagging sense that there's more to understand, stay with me. Because today, we're diving deep into Nietzsche's most provocative insights, where he exposed the hidden nature of female desire, a truth men still don't see, a truth that has been buried under layers of misunderstanding, censored by discomfort, and feared for centuries. Stay until the end, because this isn't just a philosophical lesson or a dry analysis. It's a chance to see the world, the women in your life, and even yourself with new eyes, to uncover something profound that could reshape how you live and love. Imagine this. You're at a point in your life where desire challenges you, where it tugs at your thoughts like a persistent wind. Maybe you're 35 and struggling to understand the desires of your partner, which shift like the tides, passionate one moment, distant the next. Maybe you're 50, wondering why the desires of the women who shaped you, your sister, your daughter, a mentor, seem so different from what you've been told to expect. Or perhaps you're 70, looking back across decades and realizing that female desire has been a puzzle you never fully pieced together, a thread you couldn't follow to its end. Nietzsche understood this struggle. He wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But what happens when that why is shrouded in a veil of complexity you can't penetrate, when female desire, with all its depth and mystery, becomes a terrain you don't know how to navigate? Many men face this struggle, not because women are inherently unknowable, but because we've been taught to view their desires through distorted lenses, through ideas handed down by tradition, religion, and culture that blind us to the truth. This video isn't just to inform you or fill your head with facts. It's to wake you up, to empower you to take control of your understanding, to step out of the passenger seat and become the driver of your own story. Friedrich Nietzsche, a 19th century German philosopher, was no stranger to pushing boundaries, to shattering the comfortable illusions of his era. He gazed at the world with a fierce intensity, a fire that burned through pretense, and when he turned his attention to female desire, he did so with a mix of admiration, critique, and provocation that still unsettles us. In his notes, many of which remained unpublished during his lifetime, he left a stark diagnosis of female desire, a vision that has been misinterpreted, censored by those who feared its implications, and dreaded by those who preferred the safety of ignorance. He wrote things like, "Woman is more barbaric than man," or "When a woman has scholarly inclinations, there is usually something wrong with her sexuality." Harsh words, ones that make us recoil in 2025, that seem unjust or outdated at first glance, but beneath them lies a deeper truth, a truth we're going to unravel step by step. Nietzsche wasn't speaking from hatred, as some assume, nor was he blindly attacking women. He was driven by a relentless desire to understand, to peel back the layers of societal conditioning, to shatter the chains of ideas that bind us and obscure reality, to reveal what lies hidden beneath the surface. Consider this. Nietzsche didn't see women as inferior, nor did he place them on an unreachable pedestal of perfection. He saw them as a force of nature, beings who embody chaos and life in ways that men, often trapped in the rigid structures of logic and morality, struggle to comprehend or even acknowledge. He believed society, with its suffocating rules and norms, had tamed women, shaped them into roles that didn't reflect their true essence, that stripped away their raw, vital power. The hidden nature of female desire, according to Nietzsche, isn't a riddle to solve with a clever answer. It's a power to admire, to respect, to learn from, a force that pulses with the energy of creation itself. But the world doesn't want you to know this. The world has told you that female desire is a mystery you must accept without understanding, that it's emotional, irrational, a wild force you must control or fear. That's the lie Nietzsche sought to destroy, the illusion he exposed with every stroke of his pen. They lied to you. From the moment you were old enough to listen, you were taught that desire is a simple thing, that female desire is a puzzle you'll never solve, a force you must manage or suppress. Religion declared, woman is the temptress, the one who leads man to sin, a danger to be tamed. Society whispered, female desire must be submissive, nurturing, obedient, confined to the roles we've assigned. But where's the truth? In that, Nietzsche called it the morality of slaves, a way of thinking that weakens you, that keeps you small, and represses women, distancing them from their natural power. He saw female desire as a creative force, a vital energy more connected to the pulse of life than man's abstract reasoning. Yet that force has been stifled, buried under layers of expectation, and we've been taught to dread it instead of celebrating it, to see it as a threat rather than a mirror to our own humanity. Let me tell you a story. There was a man, let's call him James, around 50 years old. He'd been married for 20 years, but felt he didn't truly understand his wife's desires. They shifted, sometimes a passionate fire, sometimes a distant shadow, and he saw them as a mystery he couldn't crack, a code he couldn't break. One day, reading Nietzsche, he stumbled upon this. Woman is not yet capable of friendship. Women are still cats and birds, or at best cows. At first he was offended, shocked by the bluntness, but then he reflected. What if Nietzsche wasn't insulting, but observing a difference, a distinction rooted in nature rather than judgment? What if that difference wasn't a flaw, but an opportunity to see deeper? James began talking more with his wife, observing her without judgment, trying to understand her desires on their own terms. He found she wasn't a mystery to be solved, but a person with her own struggles, her own passions, her own strength, a strength he'd missed because he'd been looking through the wrong lens. James isn't a unique case, a hero from a novel. He's a man like you, who chose to look beyond appearances, to question what he'd been taught, and find a truth that transformed his life. The system wants you blind. Culture tells you female desire is a problem, something to control, to ignore, to fit into neat little boxes. Nietzsche shouts, "Wake up, see the truth, not the lies you've been sold." He didn't want you to fear women's desires. He wanted you to see them as they are, forces of nature, creators of life, beings who embody the chaos and beauty of existence in ways that challenge our assumptions. In his notes, he describes women as Dionysian, tied to the raw, untamed energy of life in a way men, with their Apollonian logic, often miss or misunderstand. But that connection has been suppressed, buried under societal norms, and we've been taught to see it as a threat, a wildness to be tamed, rather than a source of inspiration, a wellspring of vitality we can learn from. So, how do you break? Free from those binding ideas, those invisible chains that keep you from seeing female desire clearly? Nietzsche offers a path, the Übermensch. It's not about dominating women, dismissing their desires, or forcing them into your framework. It's about elevating yourself, becoming someone who can face female desire without fear, without prejudice, and learn from its power. He says, you must become who you are. This means stopping seeing female desire as a puzzle to solve or a force to control, and starting to see it as a power equal to yours, with its own will, its own depth, its own beauty. Nietzsche believed women's desires in their essence are stronger than men's in many ways, because they're closer to life, to creation, to the chaos that births everything. But that strength has been hidden, obscured by a society that fears its wildness, and we've been taught not to see it, not to honor it, but to shrink from it. Imagine Nietzsche's eternal recurrence. Would you live your life the same if you had to repeat it forever, with every moment, every relationship, every desire replayed endlessly? If female desire frustrates or confuses you, if it feels like uncharted territory that leaves you lost, would you change how you approach it? Would you dare to see it differently? This exercise forces reflection, pulls you into the mirror of your own existence. Are you living from fear, from the prejudices drilled into you, or from admiration, from a genuine desire to comprehend? Nietzsche urges you to view female desire not as a problem to fix, not as a threat to manage, but as a force that can inspire you to grow, to evolve, to become more than you are. He saw it as a creative power. One society has reduced to roles that don't do it justice, roles of submission, silence, or seduction. In his notes, he writes, "The perfect woman is a higher type of human than the perfect man." Words that seem to contradict his critiques, yet reveal his awe for the untamed strength of female desire, a strength he felt should be liberated, not chained. How do you apply this to your life right now on this Thursday afternoon in May 2025? Start with a shift in perspective, with an act of courage. Stop seeing female desire as a mystery to crack, as a code to decipher with the right key. Begin viewing it as an expression of life, as a force that, like yours, has its own struggles, its own passions, its own power, a force that isn't alien but human, just different. Talk to the women in your life, your partner, your mother, a friend. Listen to them, observe them without judging, without projecting the expectations you've inherited. Nietzsche would say, don't accept the answers given to you. Forge your own. You might discover that female desire isn't so different from yours. A yearning for meaning, for connection, for power, and that realization offers a key. Desire isn't a battlefield where one wins and the other loses, but a bridge, a possibility for understanding if you're willing to cross it. Here's the hidden truth Nietzsche exposed. The truth men still don't see. Female desire isn't something to fear or control, to box in or dismiss. It's something to admire, respect, celebrate. He believed it's a creative force, more vital than man's, because it's closer to life's raw, unfiltered energy, the energy of creation, of birth, of transformation. But that force has been suppressed, buried under societal expectations, and we've been taught to miss it, to overlook its power. Imagine a world where women's desires aren't trapped in roles, where they aren't confined to being caregivers, seductresses, or silent figures, but where they can be free, authentic, powerful in their own right. That's the world Nietzsche envisioned, a world where men and women can learn from each other's desires, rise together, and find strength in their differences. Back to you, to this moment at 1:57 p.m. Zo 3 on May 15th, 2025. Female desire isn't a problem to fix or a riddle to solve. It's a force to understand, to honor, to embrace. Nietzsche would say, love your fate, even the chaos of desire. That chaos includes women's desires, with all their complexity, their intensity, their beauty. Think of the women you know, those who've shaped you, loved you, challenged you. Do you see them as creators, as beings with their own inner fire, or just as roles to fill, mother, wife, daughter? Do you listen to them, respect them, or judge them based on what you've been told their desires should be? Change begins when you stop imposing your preconceptions and start learning, when you open yourself to the possibility that female desire is a language you can learn, a strength you can draw from. Let me share another story. Paul, a 42-year-old man, always saw women's desires as unpredictable, a whirlwind he couldn't navigate. He thought they were emotional, hard to grasp, beyond his reach. But one day, reading Nietzsche, he found, man fears woman when she loves, for then she sacrifices everything else. That stopped him cold, made him pause amid his busy life. What if that intensity, that all-consuming love he'd seen as overwhelming, wasn't a flaw or a burden, but a strength, a reflection of a deeper connection to life? Paul started talking more with his partner, trying to understand her desires, respecting her as a whole person. Not a stereotype, not a puzzle, but a human with her own story. It wasn't easy. There were misunderstandings, tense moments, tears he hadn't anticipated. But today, he says their connection is deeper, richer, more real than ever. Because he chose to stop judging and start comprehending. Paul isn't unlike you. His transformation came from a decision to stop fearing female desire and start admiring it, to learn from its power rather than shrink from it. Nietzsche's exposure is brutal, yes, but it's also liberating. It asks you to see female desire anew, to shed the prejudices you've inherited and face the truth with open eyes. It's not what society claims, a weak emotional force to be managed or ignored. It's a power, an energy, an expression of life that can be chaotic, intense, transformative. And that power can inspire you to be better, to live better, to desire better, to connect better. Imagine that today, right now at 1:57 p.m. 03, you change one thing. You talk to a woman you care about. Ask her what she desires, what moves her, what fuels her fire. Or you look within yourself and confront your own biases, those fears and assumptions that have kept you from approaching female desire with clarity and respect. Each step, no matter how small, is an act of freedom, a movement toward a life more authentic, more awake. And here's the key: you're not alone. There are men like you, men who seek understanding, who tire of stereotypes and shallow answers, who want to live with authenticity and depth. There are men who want to engage with desire, female and their own, not fear it, not repress it, not let it fade into ignorance. Join them, find your tribe, share your thoughts, learn from their experiences, grow together, because female desire isn't a mystery to solve like a detective story, isn't a code to crack with the right formula. It's a force to celebrate, a reflection of life's complexity, a mirror to your own soul, an invitation to discover yourself through the desires of others. We've reached the end, but this journey doesn't stop here. Nietzsche leaves you a message, clear and powerful. Life is chaos, and in that chaos lies beauty, love, truth. Your age doesn't matter, whether you're 35, 50, or 70, nor does how long you've lived with confusion or blind spots. What matters is your courage, your decision to act now, to open your eyes on this Thursday, May 15th, 2025, at 1:57 p.m. 03. You might feel confused right now, might feel this video has left you with more questions than answers, but that's the beginning. That's the awakening. There are men everywhere, in every corner of the world, who are opening their eyes, who are saying, enough blind living. I want to see. I want to understand. I want to live. Join them. Be part of that quiet revolution Nietzsche invited us to start. A revolution of awareness, of respect, of growth. So today, when you turn off this video, do something. Write down a thought that haunts you, a question about desire that's been lingering in your mind. Talk to someone, a woman you love, a friend who understands, anyone who can light your path. Take a step, however small, toward the truth, toward the life you want to live. Because as Nietzsche said, there are no facts, only interpretations. Your life isn't written by others. You are the writer, you are the creator. So tell me, do you dare see female desire without prejudice? Do you dare learn from it, celebrate it, let it transform you? Do you dare to be the man who understands, who acts, who lives with eyes wide open? If this moved you, if it stirred something inside you, comment below. Share if you've ever felt that confusion, that void, or if you've already started shifting your view, taking steps toward a deeper understanding. This channel is for men who don't give up, who refuse to settle, who want more from life, who want to know more about themselves and the world around them. Subscribe, hit the bell, and join this community of men who are waking up. See you next time.